Eggs Up Grill was founded in 1997 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and was founder-owned and operated until 2018 when it was acquired by a private investment firm in Spartanburg, South Carolina. We have 42 restaurants in operation, 12 in development, and another 20 commitments across our primary markets of the Southeast U.S. We are our breakfast, brunch, and lunch concept, doing business from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And while we have terrific food products and really comfortable and relaxed restaurants, what's really distinguishing and differentiating for our brand is the quality of service experience provided by our unique team members as well as our franchise partners. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking to you about that today. We're a 100% franchise system with the exception of one company-operated restaurant, a new prototype that I introduced into the system in 2019, last summer, after I had joined the business. And the franchise appeal is around the operational simplicity, it's around the compelling economics that we have within our concept, and it's also around the culture that attracts our guests and team members, and also the lifestyle component. Since acquisition, we've put together a highly experienced leadership team that has a lot of experience in rapidly growing national brands, and we believe that that experience will help enable our continued success as we move forward. As I said, Eggs Up Grill was founded in 1997 by a third-generation restaurateur by the name of Chris Godress. Chris and his wife, Pat, decided to relocate from the Northeast, where he had worked in his grandfather's deli and grocery store, his father's diner, and wanted to go do something on his own. So they picked up out of Rhode Island and, imagine this, moved to the beach because they wanted a significant change in their life at that time. Chris did what a lot of us do in those type of big life changes. He did what he knew how to do, which was to open a restaurant. He found a closed-down Chinese restaurant just up the beach in Myrtle Beach, converted that to a breakfast, brunch, and lunch concept, and was happily successful for the first 8 years of his career as his independent restaurant, and then he decided to franchise. And he did what a lot of founder-led companies do when they franchised. He sold a restaurant to his brother. And they had those two restaurants until 2009, when he began actively franchising with the first outside of the family franchise. It was a local couple, young couple, that wanted to bring that to their community in Conway, South Carolina. And as you can see, since we started franchising the brand, we've seen some rapid growth after a pretty slow start with the brand. Our 10th restaurant in 2015, the 20th restaurant in 2017, and we opened our 40th restaurant in January of this year. The private investment firm, WJ Partners, acquired the brand in March of 2018, and I had the opportunity to join them in July of that year and have been leading the brand since that time period. Our food is classic, all-American, very approachable breakfast concepts. And we believe one of the things that's unique about our brand is not only the quality and consistency of the food, the freshness made to order. We're your local replacement for the old-time mom-and-pop breakfast concepts that you see in small towns across the U.S. We're cleaner, we're fresher, we're brighter, we're friendlier, the quality's better, and our value for money is second to none in this space. We've got not only fantastic hand-cracked farm-fresh eggs, abundant omelets, great French toast that we serve in the restaurants. We've got some of the best burgers, and I would definitely put them up against Buffalo Wild Wings burgers because I've had both many, many times. But we've got some great burgers. We've got freshly prepared sandwiches and salads and wraps. And a lot of our food feeds a growing day part for us, which is that revenue that we generate outside the four walls of our restaurant through our catering. We see catering sales running from 4% on average of the system to many of our restaurants running 10, 12, 14% of revenue from the catering platform. And as I said, we have a very strong value for money offer with an average check running just under $10.50 per guest. I mentioned the new prototype that we introduced last July in our company operations there in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's not only a traditional restaurant. We have a training center there where we train all of our new franchisees and develop all of our training programs for the brand. We also have an innovation and test kitchen. But this initiative about creating a new design for the restaurant was much broader and much more strategic than just to create a new look and feel for a physical plant. We spent extensive time with the founder, with guests, with legacy team members and franchise partners in the system, getting around for a series of days and workshops, documenting and getting down on paper what the true soul of this brand was about. I've been in the restaurant industry my whole career, and there are case study after case study of concepts that have been successful, pushed the accelerator down for very rapid growth, and have lost their way at some point in the future. They forget what their soul is about. They forget what's differentiating for the guest and for their team members. In our case, an important constituency as well is our franchise partners. So we did a lot of diligent work to get that documented down on paper and begin to share that on a very consistent basis with the new leadership team that came on board, but also with our franchise partners. But from that, we took that inspiration to create a new design. And as I said earlier, we're light, bright, fresh, and clean. We really contemporized the look and feel inside of the restaurant. But it's a very friendly, casual, come as you are. You'll go into almost any of our restaurants, you're going to see service workers, blue-collar workers in those restaurants. You're going to often see families in there at the same time. You'll see business people having a breakfast meeting or a lunch meeting. So it is truly a community gathering place, and not to be too cliche, a bit of a Cheers atmosphere where you'll have the franchise partner team members who know their regulars by name. And oftentimes the order's in the kitchen before the guest even finishes sitting down because they know exactly what that guest is going to order when they come into the restaurant. We wanted to contemporize the look and feel with some of the finishes, try to upgrade it a little bit, but not upgrade the investment cost. We opened up the kitchen window to create a real sense of energy, that shared energy that comes out of an open kitchen and into the dining room, the activity, and you can see your food being made to order for you. We have a lunch counter that sits in front of that open kitchen as well, where you'll have your server taking care of you as you can. Oftentimes you'll see guests talking to the cooks in the kitchen as well. Again, regulars really enjoy that sense of personalization and connection. I mentioned earlier the friendliness of our teams. You know, it's, again, as a lifelong restaurateur, there's nothing more important than the quality of team members that you bring into your restaurants. But what's really unique about Eggs Up Grill, and I found incredibly refreshing, was the authenticity and the naturalness that comes with our team members. One of the benefits of having a very strong culture in these type of environments is it's not the details and tactics behind the service experience. It's that fascination on putting a smile on the face of every guest in the restaurant. And when you hire for personality, when you hire for attitude, when you hire for that energy and make sure there's a good sync up there, then you're diligent in teaching the tactics behind that. It comes together an incredibly successful experience. So as I said, we hire for personality and passion for service. We've also been very fortunate to attract some of the best talent in the business, an incredibly stable workforce. The single day part of operation is very attractive, not only to franchisees, but also to the top team members in our business. They have a stability to their schedule, a regularness to their schedule that gives them flexibility. You'll see moms or dads that can leave work and be at home for their kids to come home in the afternoon, same with our franchise partners. That not only helps us attract talent, but it also significantly reduces turnover. I was looking at some turnover stats last week, and on 2019 results, our turnover for our hourly team members running south of 60%, which of those of you that are experienced in the restaurant business know that's a significant accomplishment. Not only the stability of the operation that it provides to you, but also the financial benefit you see on your P&L. We track all of our social media rankings as well. Those reviews that come through Google, they come through TripAdvisor, they come through Facebook. We see 12 to 15,000 reviews on an annual basis. And because of all the components I've talked about so far, we consistently see 4.5, 4.6 ratings on average for our brand across our restaurant system. I mentioned our franchise partners a few times. When we acquired the business, all of the franchisees had been guests in Eggs Up Grill prior to raising their hand and said that they wanted to be interviewed to become a partner. They're very diverse from backgrounds, education, ethnicity, economic levels in the business. But it's that attraction of wanting to do something different, to be their own boss, to have their own business, to enjoy a lifestyle that gives them that flexibility that I was talking about earlier. But they're also attracted to the economic opportunity that they have in being their own boss as well. The investment cost, as we'll get to in a little bit, is very approachable. The financials are compelling for a franchisee to be successful. And we have 40% of our current franchisees that are reinvesting and adding restaurants to their portfolio. They're very entrepreneurial, but they really embrace that neighbor serving neighbors, that passion to want to put a smile on the face of every guest. And as a leadership team, we've worked hard since acquisition to build on the trust that was already in place between the founder, who's still a minority partner in our business, but that trust had been built between the founder and the franchisees, and let them know how important their success is to the success of our brand. Clearly, in a 100% franchise system, that should go without being said or needed to be said, but oftentimes people forget how important that is to a brand success, that your franchise partners are successful. We have a simple operational model, very simple from a restaurateur's perspective, even though everything is made to order for the guest at the point of service. Our preparation side of the kitchen, a typical kitchen day, is relatively simple and straightforward. The menu is relatively compact. We do have a single menu that we serve all day long that has the breakfast items, the brunch items, and the lunch items on there. So the operational simplicity is an appeal to non-restaurateurs and also enables those with restaurant experience to step up and be successful very quickly as well. Quick video, I'd like to show you a day in the life of one of our single unit operators.
When you're driving to work, you don't think about what you have to do. You think about who you're going to see. And that's a big switch for most people. We're serving our friends every day. Everyone says the restaurant business is so hard. Not if you have the right restaurant. Not at Eggs Up Grill. We keep things really simple here. Simple is good. Simple makes people happy. All of us here have the same job: to make everyone who comes through that door smile, to genuinely appreciate them for coming in to eat with us. We serve them great food, their favorite breakfast, a great lunch, but they can get food anywhere. We have to serve them something they can't get anywhere else. We open at 6. Get the early risers off with a good start to their day. We close at 2, which gives us a lot more time with our families. That's a big switch too. Too many people work so hard and too late that they miss the important stuff. We work hard, but we don't have to miss the important stuff. If you love family, being genuinely connected to your community, and eggs, lots of eggs, having a life while you make other people's lives better, owning an Eggs Up Grill is pretty ideal.
As I said, the majority of our franchise partners at acquisition were single unit owner operators. Had about 30% of those that had added restaurants. The largest was only 3 restaurants at that time. And we've developed this recruitment video, as you can tell, specifically targeted at that profile of franchise partners. And that'll continue to be an important part of our growth strategy so that we don't lose sight of what is an important element of the soul of this brand. But we also realize that there's a significant white space opportunity to accelerate the growth of this brand across the breakfast space, the better breakfast category. Beginning last year, we actively began recruiting experienced restaurateurs that have the operational capabilities, the involvement on a day-to-day basis in the restaurant businesses and the balance sheets to help accelerate that growth. Did 4 transactions for north of 20 restaurant commitments. Going forward. So we'll continue as we accelerate to not lose sight of who we are and what's made us successful and ensure that part of our culture stays there and creates that differentiating element. but also are accelerating our growth so that we can capture our share of the white space opportunity in this category. And one of those multi-units, sorry about that, one of those multi-units is my CFO, who signed up for a 5-store agreement in December, which I know that in talking to prospects is a significant endorsement when the CFO decides that it's worth putting his money in, because I guess who knows the numbers better than him, except me sometimes. So, Eggs Up Grill and WJ Partners. The acquisition lead was WJ Partners, a private investment firm based in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Acts very similar to a family office. There's 2 families, the W and the J side of WJ Partners. But they have, while they are a small firm, they've had significant success in their investments. George Dean Johnson, who is the J of WJ Partners, was the initial franchise partner of Blockbuster Video, scaled that to north of 200 restaurants in a very short time period, sold his business back to Blockbuster, ran Blockbuster for the first couple of years under Huizinga's leadership. Created and scaled Extended Stay America hotel chain before selling that to BlackRock. WJ Partners was a sponsor of Pure Barre, the boutique fitness concept, acquiring that at under 100 restaurants, selling it to Richardson for north of 300 restaurants. So they have a lot of experience in hospitality. Currently have more than 55 hotels across the U.S. that they own the properties and operate those restaurants as well across 5 different brands. So a lot of experience in hospitality, a lot of experience in the retail side, and certainly a lot of experience in rapidly scaling concepts and businesses. The leadership team, as I said, I joined Eggs Up Grill in the summer of 2018. Lifelong restaurateur, last 20 years of my career prior to taking a little bit of time off before before Eggs Up Grill, was with TGI Fridays. Ran the U.S. business in TGI Fridays from 2012 to 2016. 7 years in our international business, so a lot of experience in big brands, a lot of experience in rapid growth in our international side, some growth in our U.S. side under my leadership as well. My head of operations and training is Jeff McCabe. Jeff joined Five Guys Burgers when they were less than 100 restaurants, left Five Guys when they were north of 1,000 restaurants. A lot of experience on the franchise support and corporate operations side as well. Tim Eaton, development lead and experience out of Panera Bread, where he supported the rapid growth of Panera Bread, experience in Payway as well. Todd Owen is my head of franchise development. Todd, a lifetime franchise development executive. Most recent claim to fame was helping accelerate the growth of Qdoba, Mexican chain, 60 restaurants to 600 restaurants under his leadership. Been consulting for a couple of years before he joined us. Marketing and finance leads in our business as well. While we have a significant experience in the industry working with much larger brands and in rapid scale, we all have an appreciation also for the franchisee and the need for franchisees to be successful. And that's a critical criteria as I've built the leadership team, that understanding and that appreciation of what it takes to help franchisees be successful, and how we need to act in their benefit with their success in mind with those key decisions that we make in the business. A couple of very tactical examples. One of the initial piece of work that we had was to try to bring some discipline to our sourcing and purchasing side of the business. We've added about 200 basis points in margin improvement to the franchisee's P&L through some very basic but aggressive sourcing needs, improving quality along the lines as well. Developing labor scheduling tools and management tools, from a restaurateur's perspective, pretty basic tools, but also a lot of benefit that it brings to franchisees in a system that hadn't been exposed to those type of processes in the past. Support system. I talked a bit about documenting our DNA in the business and making sure we knew who we were, but we've also done a lot of blocking and tackling, getting the fundamentals in place around not only things like sourcing, but our entire training programs, our onboarding processes, our marketing, partnered with a agency of record to help us develop a very robust, not only brand calendar, but much more important, local store marketing calendar, and implement disciplines to help franchisees grow their sales. Put in place franchise business consultants who meet with franchisees on a quarterly basis to help drive their success, not only from a revenue side, but also from a margin side. Implemented significant data sharing, and then also partnering partnering with what I would call national quality partners, even though we're at this time a relatively small regional brand. The retail strategy out of Austin, very successful. Real estate acquisition and development firm. Cisco is our mainline distributor, where we've improved quality and improved margins in the business and have the service network as we expand across the Southeast. And then our Toast POS system that we've just implemented into the system, and good brand protection capabilities as well. As I said, we're focused in the Southeast. We've got a relatively broad description there. Active conversations across Virginia, Kentucky, over to Mississippi. New franchise partners I would expect to sign in the next 12 months. But our core right now is around the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida. We just opened Florida about 2 months ago, have significant commitments to grow across Florida. We'll be opening Tennessee later this year. We have an average unit volume of $981,000, 13 quarters of year-over-year same-store sales growth. And take a lot of pride in the fact that in our time period there, which is where we only have these details, but over the last 2 years, our comp sales growth has been exclusively from traffic gains in the business, not from price. As I said, we have 30-plus franchise commitments in addition to the 42 we have in operation right now, and on track to achieve 100 restaurants by the end of 2022. Our target real estate is secondary and tertiary markets, those hometowns or high-growth suburbs or exurbs around major metropolitan areas. We look for neighborhood, daily use, grocery-anchored shopping centers. We're not a big box. We don't want to be in a big box retail environment. Our concept would not perform as well. We'd get lost amid the shuffle there. But we want to be in those neighborhoods adjacent to housing, adjacent to work, adjacent to church and schools, and in that daily use center where there's a lot of activity coming in and out of the center that help drives our brand awareness. 2,400 to 2,800 square feet would be our sweet spot from a footprint size. Like everyone else, end caps with patios would be highly preferable. Typically takes about 70 to 80 days to build our restaurants, depending on the condition of the space that we take over. And one of the appeals to landlords of our concept is the day parts that we operate in, which creates a lack of parking intensity when more traditional retailers and restaurants are looking for that parking. So that gives us a lot of flexibility as well in the sites that we select. I've mentioned our average unit volumes, who's reinvesting, $39,000 franchise fee, 5% royalty, 2% marketing. And one of the things, again, thinking about franchisees' success, when we enter a new market or a new state where there's not brand awareness, we have a process and a practice of giving that 1% back, brand marketing fund back to the franchisee for their first year of operation, so that they have 2% to spend local, an obligation to still spend 2% on marketing, but let them put 100% of those dollars to work in the local market to help drive brand awareness and build the foundation for future success in their business. Our cost of goods sold are very, very compelling, as are our team member wages, and you can see our cost to open based on our 2019 FDD. Eggs Up Grill's home to the whole neighborhood, and we serve smiles to everyone who comes in the four walls of our restaurants. A proven brand with more than 20 years of success, I believe a very unique positioning and differentiating experience for guests, compelling economics and lifestyle appeal to our team members and to our franchise partners, and best-in-class leadership and support. Thanks a lot for your time today, and I'll take any questions that you have here in just a minute. Thanks.